And we are back with some more Czeching Lions franchise mode. And in this one, we are going to try to get through the entire regular season and playoffs, as I do want to start a new series. I don't want to be doing 4 or 5 different series at once. So we're going to try to finish this series up, because it's kind of been going on for a long time, I think since the start of NHL 21, which was 6 months ago. So we're going to hurry this up a little bit. We're just going to try to get as much done in each episode as possible, and then that'll make room for a new series. But that being said, we are at the start of year number 6, so let's quickly go over our lines, and then we'll get into the regular season simulation. So on the first line, you have Rosehill, Ben DeHaan, and Aronson. Second line, Danielson, Gryba, and Janssen. Third line is Nemestikov, Nokalainen, who's now up here at an 81 overall. He's that low elite player who had some really good growth. And then Taylor Radish. And the fourth line is Wood, McLeod, and Frederick. On defense, you have Stillman and Larson, Slavin and Shattenkirk, Bentley and Carlo. And in goal, you have McCutcheon and Demko, Scratched are Van de Sompel, and Murphy. On the power play, you have Janssen, Ben DeHaan, Aronson, Shattenkirk, and Rosehill. And then Danielson, Gryba, Radish, Stillman, and Nemestikov. Penalty kill is McLeod and Wood with Bentley and Stillman. And then Frederick and Radish with Larson and Slavin. 4-on-4 is Ben DeHaan, Rosehill, Stillman, and Larson. Gryba, Danielson, Slavin, and Shattenkirk. And then McLeod, Aronson, Carlo, and Bentley. Extra attackers are Danielson and Aronson. Shootout is Danielson, Rosehill, Aronson, Janssen, and Nemestikov. And as for the goaltending situation, we're just going to switch back and forth between McCutcheon and Demko, whoever's doing better, or whoever the auto coach wants to have in any particular game. That's all right with me. I mean, they're both starting goaltenders, so we may as well let them battle it out. And whoever has the better save percentage by the end of the season, and with more games played, obviously, will also start in the playoffs. Well, that is presuming we can make the playoffs, but, I'm pretty hopeful. We have a very young lineup, that is for sure. We have Rosehill, who's 20, Ben DeHaan, who's 21, Aronson's 23, Danielson is 21, Gryba is 18, we just drafted him, Nokalainen's 21. We have a lot of young blood in this lineup, but we also have some veterans in there, like Janssen, who's 30, Radish, who's 27, Nemestikov, who's 32. And then, of course, you also have that prospect offensive defenseman that we just drafted. I believe it is, Svaitov. So, future's looking bright. But obviously, with all the young blood on the team, I would prefer to at least try to get them some playoff experience. Any playoff experience that they can get is going to be valuable. Now we're about to face the New Jersey Devils in our first game of the season, so let's keep an eye out for the likes of Gryba and Matti Nokalainen, who we're going to be on watch for their first NHL goals. First period against New Jersey, we have a 3-1 lead for New Jersey to start things out. Janssen gets the goal on Ingram, but Holtz, Palmieri, and Bratt score for them on McCutcheon. Second period, we have a 4-1 lead for New Jersey. Nico Hischier on McCutcheon. And third period, we have a 4-1 game is the final score. All right, let's hope for a better result against Vegas. And hopefully a first NHL goal for Nokalainen or Gryba. First period, that'll be a 1-1 game. Larson with a goal. Second period, nothing happening. Third period, we have a 3-1 win. There it is, Gryba with his first NHL goal in his second NHL game. Very nice. And it's in a 3-1 win as well. So, nice and memorable for the kid. Now we await Matti Nokalainen's first goal. And a game against Toronto. First period, we have a 3-0 lead to start things out. Wood, Stillman, and Danielson with the goals on Francouz. And during the second period, Toronto gets 2 goals. Engvall and Marner with the goals on McCutcheon. Third period, we get the 4-3 win. Aronson with his first of the season, I believe that is. And Cal Foote, the former Czeching Lion, on McCutcheon. Still looking for Matti Nokalainen's first goal, but that's okay. He can take a few games to acclimate himself. And with that being said, we're going to get into the game against Ottawa. First period, that will be a 1-0 lead for Ottawa. White on McCutcheon. Second period, okay, 3-0 lead for Ottawa. Third period, okay, but there it is. Matti Nokalainen gets his first goal. Unfortunately, it's in a 5-2 loss. But nonetheless, a good milestone for him. We actually outshot them 42-30, so we got quite a heavy amount of offense, but for some reason, they just found the back of the net more than we did. So we're at the trade deadline now, and I found a pretty interesting trade from the Ottawa Senators. Bobby Schwartz, he is an 85 overall, 24 years of age, top 4 defenseman. He was taken second overall in 2020, and he has not played a single game this season. The Ottawa Senators were not able to re-sign him, it looks like, and he only played 2 games last year, so he has just been sitting on their bench doing nothing, basically. So we'll give them Gaudreau and Ortiz for Bobby Schwartz. I know he's not going to be able to play for us this year, but being able to play him next year would be pretty nice for us, I think, because obviously given the current state of our defensive core, as we take a look at it, we're obviously not in the best position defensively right now, so I would like to get our hands on a solid defenseman such as him. I mean, his puck skills are great. His offensive awareness is at an 86. He's very disciplined. He's got 88 defensive awareness. Just solid all around. Great skater. Body checking 86. So I would love to pick up Bobby Schwartz. So we'll give them Gaudreau and Ortiz. Proposed trade. There it is. So once again, I know we're not going to be able to play him this year, but that was pretty much a no-brainer for me since it will improve us drastically for next year. And not only that, we also have, of course, we have Gibson coming in. He's an 80 now. I'm hoping Svitov will grow over the offseason. He hasn't grown much at all yet, but he looks to be having a pretty good season over there in Russia. So our defensive core is certainly looking much better for next year. And as far as where we are in the standings, we're in 5th currently. It's not impossible for us to make the playoffs, but we've been making it really tough on ourselves. Because if we take a look at McCutcheon's save percentage, he's just been overall brutal this season. .891 save percentage. So I've been going with Demko recently. He's had a .909, so I'm just hoping that if we do make the playoffs, that'll carry over into the playoffs as well. But of course, we have to get into the playoffs first, and that looks to be something of a challenge right now. If we take a look at the points, I mean, Janssen's been doing very well. But just overall, we've been kind of lacking in depth scoring and overall scoring in general this season compared to usual. So I'm hoping that Aronson could get back on track maybe for 40 goals. He's already at 26. It certainly wouldn't be impossible for someone of his caliber, but he definitely has trailed off in the past couple of seasons compared to where he normally is, or well, I guess I should say, compared to where we know he can get. And obviously, there's going to be some growing pains with this team. You know, we're a very young team. We have a bright future, but I'm hoping that we can get into the playoffs here. As far as trades go, there's not much else I really want to do, so let's advance to the end of the regular season. So we have finished the season 38-6. Obviously, did not make the playoffs. And honestly, this could have been a year where we made the playoffs because our division overall was pretty weak this year. So I don't want to blame it all on injuries, but we did have a couple of key injuries to guys like Rosehill later in the season, and then Nemesnikov halfway through the season, who's still not back. Yeah, our scoring definitely dried up, especially from that first line. Aronson, Ben-DeHaan, and Rosehill, all minus players. Vastly minus players, I should say. -23, -29, -15, -14 for McLeod, -28 for Shattenkirk. That's just, yeah, not a good performance this year at all. And a goal, Demko did all right, but McCutcheon, not a good showing. And as you can see by the team stats, we did not score as much as I would have liked to. We only had 2.9 goals for per game, when the rest of our division basically was 3 or above. And goals against per game, we were also not great in that department. We were at a 3.33. Now, there were worse teams behind us, but that's not going to get us into the playoffs. So, definitely was not ideal this year as far as that goes. I mean, our power play was good. We had a 21.2 on the power play, and our penalty kill, I believe, yeah, it's actually not bad either. We're 3rd in the penalty kill in the division, 80% flat. So, there's certainly room for optimism, but it's certainly unfortunate. I mean, obviously, we had that success in year number 2, but we haven't had much since. And you know what? Sometimes early success can be a dangerous beast if it's not handled correctly, and it's certainly, for us, things didn't go as planned, to say the least. So with that being said, I think we're just going to get straight into the offseason here. As for what we need going into this offseason, I mean, there's no doubt that we need an offensive defenseman. That much is clear. Might even have to upgrade in goal. I'm not sure on that yet, because Demko, I mean, he's been okay, but if there's an upgrade out there, then I certainly wouldn't be opposed to it at this point. As far as forwards, I mean, we should be set at forward, at least for the future. But I think Nemesnikov can go. I think he's overstated his welcome at this point. He's down to an 81 overall. And the draft lottery, Ottawa moves up from 11 to 1. Then Boston, Edmonton, Buffalo, Arizona, Calgary, Nashville, Philadelphia. Your Czeching Lions picking at number 9. Then Columbus, Colorado, Montreal, the Rangers, Anaheim, and LA. And retired players, you have Stahl, Kessel, Carlson, Couture, Carlson, Josi, Ryan, Neal, Giordano. A lot of players retiring this year. Subban, Soderberg, Silverberg. a lot of names. And a goal, you have Price, Crawford, Bishop, Quick, Dubnyk, Varlamov, Grice, Ranta, Stalock, Nielsen, Dell. So quite a fair share of retirements this year. Now I think we're just going to make our way straight into the draft. As like I said, I want to get as much done as possible in this video. So I think we're just going to, might honestly do the entire offseason as well. So, wow, that's odd. So the first three teams that are picking want to trade their picks. I don't believe I have ever seen this before. That is quite the rarity. I mean, if there was a goaltender or a defenseman going in the top 5, then I would definitely consider it. But we'd be better off holding to what we have. Because none of these players really impress me anyway. At least none of the ones that we have scouted. Like Duveau, he has a B, so he's probably in his low 70s, or high 70s rather. Ross is probably in his mid 70s with 3 Bs there. Jeremy Nolan, he might be in his high 70s, but still. I don't think these guys would be able to help us this year, besides maybe Goddard, who has 58 goals and 69 assists in 69 games played. That's certainly, I mean, he definitely looks very good. But how many more young wingers do we really need, you know? So Goddard is a sniper, 82 overall. I don't think he's someone we would have needed. We already have a ton of goal scorers as far as ability goes. When you take a look at, did not mean to go into this many. When you take a look at who we have at wing, we have Aronson, we have Danielson, we have Rosehill. We have so many good goal scoring forwards. I mean, Rosehill only had 18 goals this year, but when you take a look at his attributes, I mean, he has one heck of a shot. And that's not even the best shot on our team. Danielson has 95, 98, 94, 98. And then, of course, Aronson has quite a history of scoring goals as well. So I don't think that's someone we would have really needed. So we're just going to pick at number 9, and I think we'll quick sim our way through the rest of this draft. We'll just take a chance on a defenseman here. Aidan Hobson. I mean, he can't be any worse than a medium top 4, right? I hope. Yeah, okay. All right, that's good. That's a good one. That is a good pick. Offensive defenseman as well. But unfortunately, 63 offensive awareness as a 74 overall. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Okay, he might be better off as trade bait, honestly. Unless that offensive awareness shoots up there in a hurry, then I don't think we'll be using Hobson. That 63 offensive awareness is not good for a 74 overall. Wow, okay, so we got an enforcer in the second round. Frederick Meyer, who is a 63 overall, medium top 6 enforcer forward. So, loving our enforcers, I suppose. And in the 7th round, we do get Julius Cairns, who is a low elite to a defenseman, but he is 49 overall. So, unless he's one of those quick growers, I don't think we'll end up seeing him in this series. And the draft is complete. No one else really worth note in that draft. So, let's just make our way to the re-sign stage real quick. And before we move on to the re-sign stage, we're going to check out the awards. The Stanley Cup goes to the Carolina Hurricanes. The Presidents goes to the San Jose Sharks. And it was Carolina versus Vancouver in the final. Art Ross goes to McKinnon, the Hart goes to Barkov, the Norris goes to Merkley, the Lady Byng goes to McKinnon, the Calder goes to Sierra of LA, the Conn Smythe goes to Svechnikov, the Vezina goes to Peterson, the Jennings go to Samsonov, the Masterton goes to Stanley, the Jack Adams goes to Coe of the Islanders, the Selke goes to O'Reilly, the Ted Lindsay Award goes to Bratt, and the Maurice Richard goes to McKinnon. So for RFAs, we have Rosehill, Schwartz, Aronson, Ben DeHaan, Stillman, Bentley, and McCutcheon. Let's get Rosehill first. He wants $9 million for 1 year. Oh boy. Schwartz, very easy to sign. He only wants 2 years at 1.2. I think, that sounds about right for him. I'll give him 2 years at 1.1. Aronson wants 2 years at 7.4. I think I might just take him to 5, honestly, so that we can get him locked up long term. Maybe 6. Ben DeHaan wants 4.6 for 3 years. Stillman wants 5.8 for 3 years. And Bentley shouldn't want too much. Yeah, 1.8 for 2 years. Take him down to 1.75. I'll give Stillman 2 years at 5.75 to start out. I'll give Ben DeHaan 2 years at 4.6. I'm going to take Aronson to 5 years, honestly, and I'll give him 8 points, or actually we're going to have to go up to 9 at least. We'll go 9.4. As for Rosehill, been good, but I don't know about 9.1 good. I'll give him a 2 year deal at 9.4 as well. McCutcheon does not want to re-sign. He wants 5.5 for 2 years. Ugh, I don't know. I was not impressed with McCutcheon this season. And he wasn't great last year either in 24 games. I'll give him 1 year. I'll give him one more year. And if he doesn't impress me, then he's just getting traded. Because I am not going to deal with yet another season of subpar goaltending. So we're just going to we'll give him 4.5 for 1 year. So everyone besides these UFAs, Janssen, Radish, Frederick, Nemestikov, and Wood has signed, as well as Schwartz. So Schwartz, for whatever reason, did not want to sign, it looks like. So I'll just give him what he wants here. In fact, I'll give him 1.25. Nemestikov, he served us well, but at this point, I think he has overstayed his welcome. He's only had 16 points last year in 49 games, playing on the third line, I think, so we're just going to release him. I would like to re-sign Radish if we can, because he was pretty good for us last year, actually, but he does not want to re-sign, so I'm hoping that we don't have to overpay too much for him. I'll give him 1 year at 3.3. Janssen, I would obviously like to bring back, because he was our leading point getter last year, but, oh man, he wants 10.1. Frederick, I wouldn't mind signing at 1.5 for 1 year. Miles Wood, I think we could do better. He wasn't great this past season. I mean, he did have 32 points, but I'm not impressed with his takeaway giveaway ratio. And he's mostly playing on the fourth line. And for my fourth liners, I want them to be not only good hitters, but good with the takeaway giveaway ratios. So if there's no better options in free agency, then we'll go back after Wood. But for right now, I'm going to release him. As for Janssen, I think we could get him cheaper in free agency, honestly. For right now, I'm going to release Janssen. But once again, presuming there's no better options in free agency, I would like to go back after him. As for Demko, I'm not sure. He's been all over the place this GM mode. I'm definitely not giving him 5 years, that's for sure. If we give him 1 year, he wants 5.9. I'll give you $6 million for 1 year. So I believe everyone is now signed besides Frederick. He said he was not interested in re-signing due to ice time, I think, so we're just going to release him. So let's take a look at our roster going to free agency. We have Demko and McCutcheon in goal. On defense, you have Slavin, Schwartz, Larson, Stillman, Carlo, Gibson, Bentley. Forward, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we have 8 forwards. After Nokalainen, it is Scatcherd, who is a 73. So we're definitely going to need some forwards here out of free agency. And ideally, an offensive defenseman that can fill in until we get Svitov on the roster. And like I said, I wouldn't be opposed to upgrading in goal either if it is possible. Stat-wise in goal, there's no one who really stands out compared to the likes of Mr. Demko, because if you take a look at Hellebuck here, his past 2 playoffs have not been great. Regular season's been okay for him, but nothing that I'm willing to overpay for. So I think we'll just stick with Demko for right now. For defense, I think I would like to get Justin Schultz. There's no one else who's really impressive here. I mean, there is Hamilton, but I think I would take Schultz over him. Besides, Schultz is cheaper as well. So I'll give Schultz 1 year for 6.5, I think we'll go. All right, Janssen just wants way too much. I think I'd rather get someone like Granlund, who is a playmaker center, 86 overall, had 40 assists last year, 88 offensive awareness, great puck skills, and just overall, I think he would be a pretty good fit. So let's get him on the team for 2 years at, I'm going to say 7.1. Unfortunately, that does not leave us with a whole lot of cap space remaining, so we're going to have to go on the cheaper side for the rest of our signings. We'll go after Jake Lesishin here for the fourth line. 88 hits. He was okay with the takeaways, the giveaways, and he was good on faceoffs, so we'll sign him. And you know what? He's cheap as well. He's only asking for 1 year at 2.1. I'll give him 2.3. Now we're going to get Craig Smith. He actually played in the AHL last year, so he's only asking for 1.25, so that's good enough a reason to get him as any, even if he's just depth. And now we'll get Gabriel Velardi. He had 69 hits last year and 41 takeaways, 36 giveaways, good face-off percentage. So once again, for a fourth liner, certainly not a bad thing to have. So we'll get him at 1.9 for 1 year. And there's Smith, there's Velardi, there's Schultz, there's Lesishin, and there's Granlund. I believe that is it. So now taking a look at our roster, you have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is Velardi. And then in the system, we could use a backup forward, but other than that, I think we're good. Now let's go for Jack Koppaka. He has 47 takeaways and 34 giveaways last year and 94 hits. So once again, some pretty good depth to have. We'll get him for 1 year at 1.9, I would say. And there's Koppaka, and with that being said, let's make our way to the preseason. And now let's take a look at our roster and see the growth, if any. So Demko and McCutcheon both at an 85. Defenseman, you have Slavin 86, Schwartz 85, Larson 83, Stoneman 82, that's rough. Schultz 82, Gibson 81, Carlo 81. And at forward, you have Danielson 90, Rosehill 88, Granlund 86, Gryba 84, Aronson 84, Radish 83, Ben DeHaan 83, McLeod 83, Lesishin 82, Nokalainen 82, Velardi 81, Koppaka 81, Smith 80. In the system, let's call up Bentley. Let's take a look at how his fight top grew. He is a 78. I think we'll leave him unsigned for right now. On to get some more experience over there in Russia so that he can really dominate when he makes it over here to the NHL. So that being said, I think we will end this one off here. And in the next one, we will do the next season simulation and once again, hopefully make our way through the entire regular season, maybe even the playoffs. That is, if we make the playoffs, but I'm hoping we will. So that, I'll see you guys in the next one.